Hello, my name is Guy Vigeroui. I'm the CEO of Safran du Monde, speaking to you from our office in Paris. Today, I would like to introduce you Paul Caussé. He's our chef. He's literally a poet. And when we started to interview him to let him speak about the menus that he crafted, especially for our world tour, he started in French, and in fact, we couldn't stop him. So we decided to translate his words. And I would like to remind you that he is, of course, fluently speaking English. And when he will be on board with you, of course, he will translate the menus in English, and he will be able to exchange and to explain with more details how, in what manner he curated these wonderful menus that you will enjoy having on board. Welcome on board, and see you soon.
My name is Paul Caussé. I am a chef. I work mainly in France, but also all over the world. I worked in particular in Japan. I worked on the Côte d'Azur in Paris, and for its part of the world. French culinary art is perfectly suited to this format of traveling around the world. For what? Because French cuisine, in my opinion, is a cuisine of observation, which looks around and which is interested in the world. The genius, I would say, of French cuisine is using culinary technology to be able to reinterpret everything around it. So really, with little, you can really do a lot. And there, what interests me precisely to represent, let's say, French know-how within the framework of the world tour, is also to be in the discussion with the countries that we meet, because I really insist on this word of the meeting. It is extremely important in the kitchen. My real role with Safran du Monde, as part of the Tour du Monde, is to be a chef, but really to be a real conductor. That is to say that all the brigades that I will meet, whether in Peru, Brazil, Australia or elsewhere, it is for me each time like a new restaurant. So I'm going to meet the head of the brigades concerned. We're going to be in discussion. So there's really going to be a real exchange that's going to take place. And it is this truly collaborative dialogue that will create the meal that you will then have on the Safran du Monde plane. In a restaurant, it's true that we are used to the gunshot. We are used to having a living kitchen in real time, which we serve directly in the dining room to the customer. Here, what is extremely interesting is that the cooking is still done on land. There's no kitchen on a plane, so always think several moves ahead like a game of chess. How can the dish arrive from the moment T when we cook to the moment when the customer is going to eat on the plane? So my role and my expertise is really to be able, I would go, to erase certain tics that we can have at all costs in meat and try to have a cuisine that is really as fluid as possible in the air, just when we are going to reheat the dishes and they come out exactly like in a restaurant. In each flight, you're going to have dishes that are really specific to each place you're going to visit, and at the same time, there will be a little touch from the place of departure to the place of arrival, like a long brush stroke, in a way in which all the reflection from point A to point B will be done in a way as organic as possible. Last year during the world tour, when I went to Laos, the chef was working in a beautiful place. He had trees, he had a vegetable garden. I knew absolutely nothing about all the plant species that were local, so I showed him a little bit everything. He quickly understood what I wanted. We then left by motorbike in the forest. We did the picking, we squeezed fresh fruit juice in the morning, etc. And in the end, my initial ideas evolved differently live, because I saw things that amazed me, and I wanted to convey this amazement on the plane. My culinary objective in this world tour will ultimately be the same as on land. It is perhaps to give travelers a different screen on what they see, to have it in your mouth, and to be able to think it a little bit, but in a spirit, really. À la française, perhaps, of joy. Above all, it has to be joyful, because in the end, as a cook, joy is the primordial thing that we want to convey. And behind the joy, too, there is a range of different emotions. One that I find very important, especially in the context of the round the world, it will be a certain curiosity. So that also applies to me. I see that I am traveling in each of the countries we are going to cross. I ask lots of questions, and my questions will end up on the plate, and I hope that on board you will ask them, and it will certainly generate smiles, laughter, but in any case, dialogue, always. When the passenger arrives on the plane, What does he already see on his seat? He sees the menu. There, he can open the menu, and in the menu, he will see that there are many surprises already, and above all, that he has a choice. So, whether for starters, mains and desserts, there will always be something that can suit everyone. That is very important. During the trip, I have the temporality perfectly in mind. I know exactly the flight times and I try to fit the meals precisely into this time frame. Concretely, what does that mean? It means that there are times when it is dark, there are times when it is day, there are times when the traveler is a bit lost in the sky. He no longer really knows where he is. He loses control of time a little bit. And the meal arrives at this time. So I really try, for me, the dishes in the air. It is also trying to finally respect a temporality that does not exist on Earth. What excites me the most, I would say, is offering dishes that suit moods at a specific time that I have never been able to experience before in restaurants. I always say that we are at the end of a chain and that we always have to look at who is behind us. And during this world tour, what is behind me is quite fascinating. When we go from Peru to Vietnam, no one. The entity is totally different and has things to teach us that awaken us, wake us up and do good.